what's destroying the earth? What big deal is it? You know, what's cutting down another forest? It's no big deal. That's the mentality that we're dealing with. And we're also accused of being against development. We're not against development. We're promoting developing it somewhere else. We're promoting the old OU airport out on East State Street, where there's already a big cement block, there's already a road leading to it, and there are already utility and water main lines running to it, so we don't have to completely destroy some really beautiful land. I don't know if any of you've been up there, but it's really incredible. And this is our land. You can go up there, okay? You can go up to the ridges and have a picnic there, you know? Do whatever you like to do when you go out in nature, okay? So... So I mentioned the alternative site. There are also alternative proposals to this one. They want you to think that the only option is the Biotechnology Center, is the high-income retirement home. These are not the only options. Other options have been presented, and they want you to think that the decision has already been made. It has not been made, and that's why we're here getting excited about it, because they say that the decision's been made. No decision's been made. They don't even have the funding for it, okay? And that's very key. They don't have the money for it. And even if they get the $12.347 million that they're asking, they're still going to be $2.5 million short, which is either going to come from private funding, these biotech centers, or it's going to come from our tuition dollars. What do we think of our tuition dollars going to this? What do we think? I want to hear it! You're beautiful. So the Senate meeting is tomorrow, and I think a lot of us should show up to the Senate meeting and say, we're students, you're representing us. Senate might be a little more conservative than it has in the past, but we need to pass this motion. It is very important, and a lot of us are going home for the summer, and we're going to lose a lot of support in the summer, and they might try to push it through in the summer. And that's why we have to act now. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. Before I get into the point that I want to touch on, just a few announcements. If we could have all the pictures back at the end of the rally, we'd appreciate it. We need to use them for other publicity purposes. There's been a proposal for an environmental learning center on the ridges, and many of you may have signed petitions at the College Gate and at Howard Hall yesterday regarding this proposal. Tonight at 7 p.m. in the Seek House, which is 57.5 North Core Street, we're going to read the proposal and allow anyone who's interested to give their input, to broaden it if it's too narrow, or to narrow it if it's too broad. Also, we have the petitions here. They're around. Everybody come to the table at College Gate and sign one today, please, if you haven't. I want to address the issue of biotechnology for just a minute. I personally don't want the university to build a biotechnology research park anywhere. There are a few reasons why I'm opposed to it. Actually, there are many reasons, but the first thing that we hear scientists promise us is that biotechnology is going to give us new crops which won't require the use of pesticides or herbicides. The truth is that of 149 tests approved by the USDA and the FDA during the time between 1984 and 1991, 38 of those tests were for crops that were resistant to herbicides. What this means is, with the creation of a new herbicide-resistant crop, you can use a stronger toxin against the weeds. So in nearly 25% of all the test cases, biotechnology is actually promoting the use of pesticides, and more toxic pesticides.
That's right.
There are also certain, some of the tests, I mean, the number right now, I guess about 12 or 14 of those 149 tests were for plants or crops which are resistant to antibiotics. There are a number of scientific reasons for this, and I don't quite understand it myself. But I do know that there's a good chance that when we eat those crops, there's at least a chance that that antibiotic resistance can be passed on to us. So we can then contract a disease for which the antibody was intended, and it would be resistance to therapy. This is a minor point. Maybe to move on. Another objection that I have to biotechnology is that it's a twin of biological warfare. And developments in the field of biotechnology will undoubtedly aid in the production of biological weapons. The U.S. currently doesn't produce biological weapons for offensive purposes. but does research for defensive purposes. However, to create a defense, you have to create the offense. So the U.S. has a store of biological agents that could be put into production at any time. It's important to note, too, that biotechnology will be available to other countries. For example, I know there was some question about Saddam Hussein using fertilizer plants to produce biological weapons. There are, I suppose my primary objection to biotechnology as a commercial enterprise is that it's going to further entrench the power structure, which is agribusiness. And it seems to me that the large corporations and the very large farmers have a hard time taking care of their land. The U.S. loses in excess of 25 billion tons of topsoil per year. That's in excess of new soil formation. The Iguala aquifer is being rapidly depleted, and our food sources are dependent on petroleum. It seems to me that biotechnology further enhances or further allows the continuance of agribusiness. And it seems to me that large corporations and large farmers can't adequately care for the land. So when I was asked not long ago whether I opposed progress, I had to answer yes, I oppose some kinds of progress. I oppose the progress that is biotechnology. But there are other kinds of progress that Cutler Hall doesn't want us to pursue. Specifically, the proposals for a Center for Sustainability and Permaculture. These are forms of progress. This is learning how we can live better, learning how we can live in harmony, how we can design our systems so they don't destroy the natural services provided by ecosystems. There are a lot of reasons why I believe biotechnology should be seriously altered, opened up for discussion, and made for the public benefit and not for private interests. Educate yourselves. Find out what's being proposed. Thank you. I think our next speaker is Chris Schmeels.
I just want to point out there are over 100 people here today. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah!
Well, I was going to talk about democracy in the Ridges, but I think Andy and a lot of other people brought that up. I was up on the Ridges a couple days ago, so we heard what was going on.
Louder.
We heard what was going on, so we went up to the Ridges to check it out. And I was walking around, and I saw this butterfly on the ground, and I picked it up, and I was looking at it. I was like, this is really neat. I want to talk about this on Wednesday. And then we were walking a little bit farther, and I saw a snake in the tree. I was like, wow, I wish I had a camera or something, you know? And then I was walking a little bit farther, and we saw this big glop of oil on the street, on the road that goes up there. It was like off of heavy machinery or something. And I wanted to bring those two things in to show that these are the choices we have to make with that resource of the Ridges. And how many people have been up to the Ridges? Please go up there and check it out. There's a lot of energy up there. People walk up there and they say, you know, it's not just the trees, but they say there's spirits up there almost, because of all the mental health center patients that used to live on that land. 2,000 people. Not necessarily are they crazy spirits, I'm saying, but like, those people healed themselves with the earth.